This short video will explain the importance of balance and how you can help children aged 3 to 5 practice this skill. A sequence of movements designed to promote balance will be explained and demonstrated. These activities are relevant to Outcome 3 of the Australian Early Years Learning Framework, which states that learning about healthy lifestyles, including nutrition, personal hygiene, physical fitness, emotions and social relationships, is integral to well-being and self-confidence. The framework also states that physical activity and attention to fine and gross motor skills provide children with the foundations for their growing independence and satisfaction in being able to do things for themselves. In the early years, the focus of physical development is on the mastery of fundamental movement skills. These include locomotor skills, such as running and hopping, object control skills, such as catching and throwing, and stability, such as balancing and twisting. The fundamental movement skills are known to contribute to children's physical development, cognition, social and emotional development, as well as form the foundation for a healthy and active lifestyle. This is why the practice of fundamental movement skills forms part of the Australian curriculum for all preschool age students nationally. The movement skill we are focusing on today is stability, or more specifically balance. Balance is the ability to maintain a controlled body position during task performance, whether it is sitting at a table, walking the balance beam or stepping onto a curb. To function effectively across environments and tasks, we need the ability to maintain controlled positions during both static and dynamic activities. The skill of balancing is much more complex than one might think, especially for a 3 to 5-year-old. Balance involves maintaining attention to a specific task for an extended period of time, knowing body parts and understanding how their movements relate to other limbs and the surroundings, processing external information to direct body parts, using muscles to hold weight and exert force against resistance, obtaining and changing alertness levels as situations change, stabilizing the trunk and neck to better coordinate other limbs, immediately responding to internal messages about muscles and joints, processing sensory stimulation internally and externally, moving a limb while keeping the remainder of the body still, and the ability to cross the imaginary line running from a person's nose to pelvis. Good balance skills form the foundation of all upright locomotor skills. It is hard to learn to hop or skip or kick a ball when the basics of balance haven't yet been achieved. Practicing balance at an early age prepares children for the expansion of locomotor skills associated with learning sports in the coming years. When children feel capable, they are more confident in their physical capabilities and tend to apply themselves more to physical activities. This involvement leads to a positive self-perception and a sense of belonging. Good balance helps children maintain appropriate and controlled movement, minimizing fatigue and the likelihood of sport-related injuries. Children develop balancing skills at their own pace through spontaneous play and experimentation. Educators can assist by ensuring their environment is designed to facilitate a range of challenges, such as uneven surfaces, objects to climb, such as jungle gyms, and narrow pathways or stepping stones to walk on. Educators should also offer activities to encourage further development, such as hopscotch, obstacles, bikes and scooters to ride, wheelbarrow racing, egg and spoon racing, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi and beanbag balancing. First, we are going to talk about beanbag balancing. Beanbag balancing is a sequence of activities where children balance mini-sized beanbags on their heads or other parts of their bodies while attempting fun and challenging static and dynamic poses. You can practice in large groups, small groups, or with as few as 1 or 2 children. You may need to consider the special needs of individuals in your group and how to alter the activities to ensure their full inclusion. Beanbag balancing can be practiced at any time of the day, but it is best practiced at a time when all children have finished their prior play and are ready to transition into a new activity. Bean balancing requires concentration and persistence, so it is best to practice at a time when the children are well rested and all other needs are fulfilled. You can play indoors or outdoors, depending on which sequences you choose to incorporate. If practicing indoors, make sure you have a large open space where children cannot trip or be easily hurt. If outdoors, make sure the children are sun-safe with sunscreen and a hat. Beanbag balancing activities are useful to practice balancing and to extend abilities through different and challenging movement combinations. All beanbag balancing activities involve following the 3 Ds: describe, demonstrate, and do. Before preparing their children for bean balancing, it is important the teacher is prepared. You will need at least one mini beanbag for each child. Mini beanbags are fantastic for preschool students, as they can be held in one hand, are soft and will not cause pain if they are dropped or make contact with other body parts during the activities. You can purchase the beanbags from many teacher resource shops, but I recommend making the beanbags with the children. It is great for developing fine motor skills and it's a lot of fun. The bags can be filled with anything from rice, beans or sand. If making them with young children, it is important to ensure the beans are double protected in an inner plastic bag to ensure the contents don't spill if the stitching is loose. Some beanbag balancing activities require obstacles. You may consider using rope, hula hoops, floor mats and other equipment to climb over or crouch under. The first activity is a warm-up. It is a quick, low-intensity activity designed to prepare the body and mind for the activities ahead. The aim is to balance a beanbag on top of the head while attempting various movements. Start by setting up the resources and preparing the space, ensuring you remove any hazards. Organise the group and position yourself in the space so that all children can see and hear you. Describe the activity, but avoid too lengthy a description, as children at this age learn best through imitation. Oh, and if you're outdoors, don't forget your hat! Demonstrate how the activity will work. Ask the children to collect their beanbags from the pile and return to a sitting position, spaced out by arm's length. Remember the 3 Ds. Describe and demonstrate before doing each movement with the children. It is best to start with something simple, such as balancing the beanbag on your head while stationary, or on tippy toes, balancing the beanbag on your head while sitting on one leg, or with your knees bent, then straightened again, balancing the beanbag on your head and jumping, or turning around in a circle, and balancing your beanbag while striking a pose. The second activity extends on the warm-up by maintaining the same structure but providing more challenging and imaginative movements. Animal balance involves describing, demonstrating and working with the children to do various animal movements while balancing the beanbag on their heads or on other body parts. Moving like different animals can contribute not only to knowledge about animals but also to the development of various movement skills. In fact, animal movements falls under the personal, social and community health section of the Australian curriculum, where it states that our body movements can be enhanced by performing a range of animal walks, such as jumping like a frog, crawling like a crocodile, walking like a bear, hopping like a rabbit and moving like a jellyfish. Animal balance is a lot of fun for children, and you can choose your own animals to imitate based on your group's interests. A few examples are crab walking, walking like a dog, gorilla walking, or duck walking, all the while balancing the beanbag on the head or other parts of the body. Throughout the activity, make sure you discuss the characteristics of the animals. Was the animal slow and quiet or fast and excitable? After a few rounds, it can be fun to encourage the children to suggest their own animals to imitate. Once finished, regroup for a debrief about what they liked about the movements. What was easy? What was challenging? Compare different movements to each other. Did they discover a way of making balancing a beanbag on their head easier? The third activity is an imitation game, where children pair up and take turns copying each other's impromptu balance movements. This type of play is known as cooperative learning. Teachers have long been using this teaching tool, especially since Russian psychologist Lev Vygotsky linked cooperative learning to his zone of proximal development. Vygotsky defined the zone as the distance between the actual developmental levels, determined by independent problem solving, and the level of potential development as determined by problem solving under adult guidance or in collaboration with more knowledgeable others. The idea of learning from each other's strengths to optimize cognition is reflected in this activity. Copycats uses all 5 components of cooperative learning: positive interdependence, face-to-face interaction, individual accountability, small group and interpersonal skills, and group self-evaluation. Begin by describing the activity. Explain that you will pair them up and choose one person to be the cat and the other to be the copycat. The cat will make up some balancing movements and the copycat will copy. Explain that when you clap your hands, it's time to start. When you clap them again, it's time for the cat and copycat to switch roles. And when you clap for the third time, the activity is over. Demonstrate with the volunteer how each role works. Talk through examples of movements, big movements or small movements. Divide the group into pairs and clap to start the game, remembering to clap halfway for a switch and clapping at the end of the game. Activity 4 is a series of obstacle courses. Within an obstacle course, you're providing an opportunity for children to practice the many skills associated with balance, such as visual perception, gross motor coordination, eye and hand and foot and eye coordination, strength, flexibility and agility. Plus, you are also exercising their concentration, memory, attention span and spatial awareness. I recommend setting up several obstacles. This will prevent too many children pushing to plan one obstacle and will reduce the chance of accidents. You can incorporate various types of equipment into your obstacle course, such as hula hoops to jump through, ropes and beams to walk across, tables or tunnels to crawl through, and slopes and steps to climb. Before starting the obstacle, describe each piece of equipment and the movement they will need to make to interact with it. Then demonstrate how to safely complete each obstacle. Allow children to explore the obstacle at their own pace, reminding them to be safe and share the equipment. To finish the balance activities, allow for at least half an hour of unstructured free play. During this time, leave the equipment set up, allowing time for children to respond to the varied stimulus in their own way to subserve their individual needs and optimize learning and development. Free play fosters cognitive development by allowing children to practice independence, problem solving, and decision making. Free play provides an opportunity for children to interact with others and cultivate their social skills through cooperative learning. Free play also has the potential to improve many aspects of emotional well-being, such as minimizing anxiety, depression, aggression, and sleep problems. Learning at a young age that play and movement relieves stress and enhances mood may help children sustain physical activity patterns over their lifetime. As educators, it's important to take observations. Make sure you're attentive to how children approach the activities, how they react, their persistence, their interaction with others, and their level of mastery. It's important to report your observations. Occupational therapists and physiotherapists can help children experiencing difficulties with their balance. Left untreated, difficulties can lead to social isolations as they'll struggle to participate in social activities such as going ice skating or riding or playing tennis. Poor self-esteem when they realise their skills don't match their peers. Bullying when they become more aware of their difficulties. Poor fine motor skills such as writing and drawing due to poor core stability, meaning they do not have a strong base to support their use of their arms and hands. Inability to ride a bike or a scooter, which will limit the options for play with peers as many like to ride their bikes as a means of catching up with friends. When teaching balance, or any of the fundamental movement skills, it's important to consider your students and their developmental level. Are they ready for these activities, or do you need some more scaffolding to build their skills first? You also need to identify what will work and what won't work for your group. Do you have a mixed age group? Children whose first language isn't English, or children with learning or physical difficulties? No matter which activities you choose, make sure your first priority is safety, followed by a close second priority, to have fun.